Having driven up to LA with half a tank of gas in my Ford Ranger and $12 in my bank account, I was like, shit, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna make this work. Hi everyone, I'm Nicole Aniston, content creator and ambassador from my club, and I'm excited to share my story with you. I was born in San Diego, California, little town of Escondido. Pretty typical kind of white trash upbringing. Grew up on a horse ranch from a very young age, had a very strong interest in anomalous things, UFOs, Bigfoot, you know, the stuff, the unseen world, shadow people, spirits, ghosts, never really interested in anything physical or social. My grandmother and I were very close. I was never really close with my parents, being an only child until I was about 14. Didn't really take a whole lot of interest in the things that I had to do as a kid, but kind of grew up a little rough and tumble, was outside alone most of my childhood. Grew up with mostly animals, really. Those are my closest companions. Had a couple friends here and there throughout my grade school years, but kind of lost interest in the public school system around 5th grade and started to just kind of barely eke by a little bit until I finished and got my diploma in high school. But, you know, having a very close relationship with my grandmother, who was Buddhist, was very formative in my spiritual interests, I guess, and helped me through some really rough times in childhood. That was extremely beneficial, and I would say was the core of me actually surviving my childhood, I'd say. When I was growing up, I had an early experience with guns and a strong disconnect with my fellow human beings. I wanted to be a sniper in the military. I had no interest in ever having any kind of marriage, children, strong emotional relationships. And so that was my aspiration from a very young age. From about the time I was about 7 or 8, I wanted to be a sniper in the military. Kind of learning at that point, they didn't accept women, so I had to divert my interest. I then wanted to become a criminal psychologist and kind of work prison to prison. From about when I was about 9 years old, I wanted to start doing that. I had a strong interest in sociopathic tendencies and just what actually drove evil behaviors and what made people act in evil ways, and that was very interesting to me from a very young age. I never really had a whole lot of common interests that other kids related to. So that was kind of what I leaned towards before realizing that you have to go through a lot of steps to get to that point. A lot of steps that in my upbringing I could not afford or really obtain. They were not really feasible for me. You know, I graduated at 16 through an online charter aspect of the public school that I was in, and got my diploma. Didn't go to graduation, didn't go to prom, wasn't really that kid. And I figured out very quickly that I either needed to get a job or go to college. So I did a semester of college and realized that was very expensive and I had no money. So I started finding kind of side jobs here and there. I was kind of looking for odd jobs on Craigslist to make a couple bucks, and having very few skills and very few interests that were relevant to what people were looking to employ me for. I answered this ad. It looked super shady, and it was super shady, but it was fine. I got my quick cash and didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was a blowjob scene with some guy, and filled out paperwork and everything was fine, but it was like one of those things, like, what on earth am I doing? But I needed a couple of quick bucks, so it was fine. Then just kind of forgot about it. Didn't really bother me too much. I wasn't dating anyone at the time, so I didn't feel like there was anything really to consider. Went about my life, and I worked in some odd like sales jobs and things like that, just not really finding anything quite interesting. Within a month, in my own personal experience, the partner I was living with at the time got a DUI. My grandma passed, and there was something else that happened. Oh, I remember. Financial institution that I was working for merged with another bank, And those senior employees got priority over 40 hours a week, and the rest of us got cut our hours in half. So I had kicked my boyfriend out at the time and was like, yikes, what am I gonna do? Was working as a bank teller. I had this guy come in one day who I'd kind of known from the past, and I kind of knew what he did, but he was like, well, how you doing? I didn't have any other answer besides, oh, I hate this job and I hate this financial institution and I hate this whole paradigm of corporate America. It just did not suit my needs at all. So just kind of hating that corporate America role, I thought, you know what do I have to lose? It's easy, quick money. I'm not making ends meet. And so he said, well, you can come by and I'll explain to you a little bit about what we can do, and I can have you leaving with this amount of money. So we sat, and I ended up coming back to his house a couple days later. We arranged for the shoot, paperwork, IDs, the whole 9 yards. And he said, I could get you, if you're interested, I can get you more work with an agency up in LA. I said, okay, I'll go up to LA. I had been in several years earlier, I had been in a pretty bad car accident and was terrified to drive on the freeway. So this was one of those great catalytic opportunities that I had to learn my way through that freeway fear. So I got on the road and went up to LA, experienced LA traffic for the first time in my life at 23. That was an interesting, 22-ish, learned what that was all about. And then kind of got thrown into the mix into the adult industry pretty quick. It was interesting. That day, I remember very distinctly, I drove up to LA with half a tank of gas in my Ford Ranger and $12 in my bank account. I was like, shit, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna make this work. I wasn't gonna borrow money. I was too prideful. Nobody that I knew had any money anyway. And so leaving set that day with 30 minutes before the bank closed, just enough to get into the bank, deposit that check, and get some cash back to make it home was saving grace. It was a life-changing day. And I thought, you know what? Okay, I'm not gonna freak out because this is a lot of money. This one little check that I've been doing this for literally a few hours was more money than I had ever seen at any given time. And so it changed my perspective. I really had to check myself and think, okay, is this opportunity gonna disappear at some point? Am I gonna wanna continue to choose this? And it just kind of snowballed after that. I think some of the highlights have been the opportunities to travel and meet new people. Just incredible personalities, experiences, just life stuff that I'll never be able to empathize with, that I get to hear from other people's perspectives that I meet through these experiences. That I just love hearing people's stories. People are so resilient, so incredible. And that's been my favorite thing, has been traveling, going and getting to see some really cool stuff, eating some really cool foods. Eating bananas in Costa Rica is probably my favorite thing thus far. One night being super stoned, eating 19 bananas. That was an absolutely epic experience. No problems afterward either, so that was like a really cool moment. I'm recognized all the time in public, which is honestly a huge honor, whether it's because they follow me on Instagram or they know my adult career. Either way, everyone in every bit of 15 years has only ever been kind, respectful, and nice. So I've never been approached by anybody who's been a dick. Everybody's always been super kind, super friendly, men, women. And I always know if they recognize me and they're not supposed to know, because they always give the same exact face. They go, and they try to, you can just tell by the look of like their color leaves their face, and they have this expression of, oh my God, or they'll even mouth the words. I'm like, oh crap, they're uncomfortable. Uh-oh, I'm now uncomfortable. So I've had to, especially over the last like 5-6 years, I've really had to develop a little bit of like a thicker, non-empathetic skin, I guess, so to speak. Like I have great compassion for everyone, but the empathy has had to kind of stop because I'm just taking on somebody else's emotional reaction. It's mostly men, usually younger men, where they're, I grew up watching Nicole Aniston. Like, you shouldn't have, don't say that. No, don't, don't tell me what age you began watching. Don't just don't want to hear it. But everybody's always been friendly and fine. Like for the most part, the most ever that I'll get now is either one of those strong recognitions where they see me and I see them see me, and we both have this like, yeah, you're naughty. I know what you've been looking at. Kind of recognition between the two of us, but in general, very rarely has somebody will come up, oh, can I get a quick picture? Yeah, no problem, of course. But just, pick your times wisely. Don't do it when I'm in the middle of a set on the leg press, for God's sakes. Everybody's always really nice about it. And they always generally know to approach at the right times. A perfect day for me would start out with my lineup of beverages that I start my day with, which are like 1,000 different teas and this organic like cacao in a French press. I love just going to breakfast at my favorite local spot, having a really strong coffee, going to the gym. That would just pretty much be it. A great stretch session, come home, take a shower, get some stuff done around the house, see a friend in the afternoon. I'm a very simple person. I love the small town lifestyle, like a very quiet atmosphere. That's an ideal day for me. If I get to go to the gym, then I am a happy camper no matter what's going on. But yeah, good food, good company. That's about it for me. I'm a very simple person. Those are my likes. I guess what's next for me is my club involvement, which so far has been amazing. I'm excited to enter the AI space and see what that might bring for myself and my fans and followers that are interested in that aspect of communicating with my digital twin. Excited to see where that kind of continues to evolve into, because I know we're kind of right at the precipice of the beginning of this technology, and I think that the adult realm is the perfect partner for that technology. I think that's going to be really, really fun involvement for me, and I think that my fans and followers that are going to want to communicate with my digital twin in that aspect, and all the different archetypes that personality will be able to meld into, will be pretty cool for them. What I like about this project is that I can continue to input my involvement step by step if things are changing in my own personal interests. If I start doing something new, if I stop doing something old, I can input that information into the digital twin, and it will always follow suit with what parameters I set for it. So no one's ever going to be able to say, well, I want it to stand on its head in a tutu and juggle, chainsaws. I'm not going to be able to ever do that. So my digital twin will not be able to do that either. Hope you guys have enjoyed my story, a little bit about me, and I hope you enjoy my new creation with my club. My digital twin is up live now at my club. I'm really excited to be embarking on this journey with you. Let's see how fun it becomes.